Welcome back to Valuable Coins, your go-to channel for the rarest, most fascinating coins in the world. Today, we're diving deep into some of the most prized United States Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickels, coins that collectors dream about and auction houses scramble to secure. These coins don't just represent currency, they tell stories of American history, craftsmanship, and the thrill of numismatic rarity. First up, the 1942 large date. Jefferson. Nickel, with large S Mintmark, is a true marvel of American coinage. This nickel holds a special place in history because of its connection to World War II and the United States' urgent need to conserve strategic materials for the war effort. At this time, the U.S. Mint made significant changes to coin compositions and minting processes, setting the stage for a variety of collectible errors and unique design features that would captivate collectors for decades. To understand the significance of the 1942 large date large S nickel, we first need to set the historical context. In 1942, as the U.S. was ramping up its wartime production, nickel metal was deemed critical for defense manufacturing. Nickel is a key component in armor plating and weaponry, so the mint was directed to reduce the amount of nickel in circulating coins. This led to the introduction of what collectors now call the wartime nickels, composed primarily of a copper-silver-manganese alloy instead of the traditional copper-nickel blend. Among these wartime nickels, the 1942 large date large S Mintmark stands out because it was among the earliest of the war nickels minted at the San Francisco Mint, denoted by the S Mintmark, which was notably larger than usual, a distinctive feature that intrigues collectors. The large date variety refers to the size and font style of the date numerals stamped on the coin's obverse side. The large date has more pronounced, thicker numerals compared to the small date variety that was minted in the same year. Identifying the large date requires a keen eye because the differences can be subtle. But for numismatists, this is a key factor that greatly influences the coin's value. Design-wise, the 1942 Jefferson nickel retains the classic Monticello reverse, depicting Thomas Jefferson's iconic Virginia estate. On the obverse, the profile of Thomas Jefferson remains a symbol of American ideals and history. However, the wartime composition gives these coins a unique appearance. A softer luster, sometimes with a slight rusty or brownish patina due to the copper and manganese alloy reacting with the environment over decades. The circulated condition and rusty coloration of the specific coin we are discussing today add to its uniqueness. While many collectors prefer pristine, uncirculated coins, circulated coins with interesting toning and visible signs of age often tell a richer story. They traveled through the hands of everyday Americans during a pivotal era in world history. Mintage numbers for the 1942 large date large S nickel were relatively limited. According to official U.S. Mint records, just over 59 million coins of this variety were produced at the San Francisco Mint. While this seems like a large number, when compared to other years in mint marks, it becomes clear that not all these coins survived in good condition, let alone with the large date and large S mint mark intact. Add the challenges of wartime minting and distribution, and the survivability rate of high-grade specimens is quite low. One of the reasons collectors prize this coin so highly, aside from its composition and design, is the rarity of the large S mint mark itself. During wartime, mint marks were sometimes inconsistently applied or varied in size and placement, leading to interesting varieties and errors. The large S mint mark on this 1942 coin is one such anomaly, with the enlarged letter standing out prominently on the reverse, making it easier to identify and authenticate. Errors related to the mint mark and date are of particular interest to collectors. The large S is considered a minting error, or at least a variety, as the typical S mint mark for 1942 is smaller. Collectors prize such anomalies because they represent moments where minting machines or dies varied unexpectedly, a physical signature of the coin's production history. Market demand for the 1942 large date. Large S nickel has steadily increased over the last few decades. Early collectors overlooked many wartime nickels because their silver content was minimal and their designs were familiar. However, as the market matured, numismatists began to appreciate the nuances of wartime minting, the rarity of certain varieties, and the historical significance of these coins. In today's auction market, a 1942 large date large S Jefferson nickel in circulated rusty condition can easily command prices upwards of $250,000 to $300,000 or more, depending on provenance, toning, and collector interest. Such high valuations are driven not only by scarcity, but by the coin's connection to a historic period and its unique minting attributes. Collectors hunting for this coin typically rely on third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC to certify authenticity and condition. Coins with the large date and large S mint mark, authenticated and graded as genuine circulated, can fetch premium bids at auction. Provenance also plays a key role. Coins with documented history of prior ownership by famous collectors or coins recovered from notable collections may exceed these values significantly. Now, let's move on to the second coin, the 1941 Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, which also commands exceptional prices, particularly when exhibiting the rare reverse side lamination damage. This coin belongs to a slightly earlier era, right before the United States entered World War II. The 1941 Jefferson nickel is distinguished by its lack of mint mark. During this period, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, so no mint mark indicates Philadelphia production, the largest and oldest U.S. mint facility. While the 1941 Jefferson nickel is more common than wartime nickels, specific varieties and conditions elevate certain specimens to extraordinary value. Historically, the 1941 nickel represents the last of the pre-war designs before composition changes began in 1942. The coin design features Thomas Jefferson's profile on the obverse and the Monticello estate on the reverse, both designed by Felix Schlag, who first introduced the Jefferson nickel in 1938. The absence of a mint mark signifies Philadelphia origin. In 1941, the Philadelphia Mint struck roughly 42 million Jefferson nickels without mint marks. Compared to other mintages, this is moderate, meaning many survive, but finding coins in good condition can be challenging. One key aspect of the 1941 no mint mark nickel is the reverse side lamination damage condition. Lamination damage is a type of die error where the surface metal peels or flakes off, caused by impurities or imperfections in the metal blank before striking. This error manifests as raised or missing patches of metal, often irregular and eye-catching. While lamination errors typically reduce a coin's desirability due to damage, in certain cases, especially when the error is rare and collectible, such coins can command astonishing prices. For the 1941 nickel, lamination errors on the reverse side are relatively rare and have become a niche collector favorite. Collectors prize these errors not just for their rarity, but because they tell a story about the minting process. They show the challenges of producing millions of coins by hand and machine in the early 20th century. These flaws make the coin one of a kind. Design features of the 1941 Jefferson nickel include sharp relief on Jefferson's profile, well-defined Monticello columns, and a clean obverse without a mint mark. The lamination damage on the reverse contrasts with the otherwise crisp details, creating an unusual aesthetic that collectors find compelling. Market interest in these lamination error coins has surged due to increased awareness of minting errors among collectors, as well as the historical appeal of pre-war coinage. In today's auction market, a 1941 Jefferson nickel no mint mark with reverse side lamination damage in good condition can reach prices exceeding $200,000. The condition classification good here is notable because many of these coins show signs of circulation and damage, but the lamination error elevates its value far beyond typical circulated examples. This coin's price reflects its rarity, error uniqueness, and the keen interest of advanced numismatists seeking to add something truly unusual to their collections. Collectors typically pursue such coins through specialized auctions or private sales. Authentication and grading services again play a vital role in verifying the error and condition, giving buyers confidence to pay premium prices. In summary, the 1941 Jefferson nickel without mint mark, exhibiting reverse side lamination damage, is a fascinating piece of U.S. numismatic history. It embodies the intrigue of minting errors, the story of pre-war America, and the passions of collectors willing to invest six-figure sums for a coin that is as unique as it is beautiful. Next up, we explore one of the rarest and most expensive Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickels ever. The 1964 large date with a D Mintmark error, presented here in black color and dirty circulated condition. This coin, known for its extreme rarity and distinctive minting error, stands out not just as a collector's prize but as a historical artifact with a story to tell. The 1964 Jefferson nickel itself is intriguing because it marks one of the final years before the composition of the nickel changed due to metal shortages during the war years. While 1964 was not a war year, the coin reflects an era of transition. What sets this specific coin apart, however, is the large date variety combined with the D Mintmark, which indicates it was minted in Denver. Typically, 1,964 nickels are common, but this particular large date error with the Mintmark misplacement and blackened appearance drastically reduces its population. The large date variation means that the numerals for the date on the coin are noticeably bigger compared to the standard 1964 nickels, making it an instant identifier for experts and collectors alike. The D mint mark in this coin also features a known error where the mark is misplaced or doubled, which adds to its rarity. When this error is combined with the coin's dirty black coloration, likely due to oxidation or environmental factors during circulation, it gives the coin a unique aesthetic that contrasts with the usual silvery nickel finish collectors expect. This coloration does not detract from its value. In fact, it has become a sought-after trait for collectors who prize originality and uniqueness over condition alone. Historically, the 1964 nickel is significant because it represents the last year before the U.S. Mint discontinued the use of silver in other denominations and firmly standardized the nickel's composition. Although nickels were not silver, this year marked a transitional moment for coin collectors who closely tracked minting changes. The mintage numbers for the 1964D large date variety are estimated at just a few thousand coins, with the exact population figures elusive because mint errors were often unrecorded or destroyed during quality control. This scarcity dramatically increases its desirability and auction value. Design-wise, the 1964 Monticello Jefferson nickel features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, sculpted by Felix Schlag, with Monticello Jefferson's Virginia estate on the reverse. The large date error subtly alters the balance of the obverse date numerals, making it a fascinating variant for numismatists. Collectors prize this coin not just for its error, but for its connection to a pivotal era in U.S. coinage history. The blackened, dirty condition tells a story of circulation and survival, adding character and authenticity. Because of this, despite the lack of pristine condition, collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. In today's auction market, a 1964 large date Monticello Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark error in black, dirty, circulated condition can command upwards of $100,000. This price reflects its extreme rarity, the intensity of collector demand, and its historic significance. Major auctions over the past decade have seen this coin reach these extraordinary prices, often with bidding wars among high-profile collectors and dealers. The coin's value also depends on provenance. Coins with clear historical ownership or documented discovery in notable hoards tend to fetch higher premiums. For serious collectors, this nickel represents a cornerstone piece, a must-have rarity that encapsulates the thrill of error coins and the richness of U.S. numismatic history. Now, moving on to our next coin, the 1944 large date Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with the large P mint mark. This circulated error coin also commands incredible attention in the collector community for a completely different set of reasons. Known for its dramatic design anomaly and historical backdrop during the war years, this coin is another spectacular example of why the Jefferson nickel series remains endlessly fascinating. The 1944 Jefferson nickel is set firmly in the World War II era, a period when coinage was directly affected by wartime resource shortages and shifting minting priorities. Although the 1944 nickel retained its standard composition, Unlike the 1942 to 1945 Silver War nickels, it remains highly collectible due to design variations and Mintmark peculiarities. This particular 1944 coin is distinguished by the large date and a large P Mintmark error. The P Mintmark denotes production at the Philadelphia Mint, which is highly unusual for nickels of this era, because Philadelphia generally did not use mint marks on nickels until 1942, and even then the practice was inconsistent. A large P mint mark on a 1944 nickel is a known anomaly, often linked to experimental or error runs at the Philadelphia Mint. The large date variant again features enlarged date numerals that are clearly different from the regular issue. This makes the coin easy to identify, even by novice collectors. The large P mint mark is similarly oversized and often appears doubled or misplaced, which creates an error variant prized in numismatic circles. In circulated condition, this coin usually exhibits visible wear and patina, which numismatists refer to as error color condition. This term refers to the unusual toning or discoloration resulting from circulation and environmental exposure, which ironically enhances its desirability among collectors who value originality over grade. The design of the 1944 Monticello Jefferson nickel is iconic. The obverse shows Jefferson's left-facing portrait, while the reverse highlights Monticello, a neoclassical building designed by Jefferson himself. The combination of the large date and large P Mintmark error adds a layer of intrigue to the familiar design, making it a standout for collectors. The mintage for the 1944 large date with large P Mintmark error is extremely low. While official numbers are not always precise for error coins, estimates place the surviving population in the low thousands, making it exceptionally scarce compared to regular issues. Because of its scarcity, rich historical context tied to the wartime period, and distinctive design errors, this nickel is one of the most valuable coins in the Jefferson series. Auctions for circulated error coins of this type have recently surpassed $220,000, reflecting robust collector interest and the coin's elevated status among U.S. nickel rarities. Collectors are drawn to this coin not only for its monetary value, but also for its story. A piece of American history forged during a time of global upheaval, represented by a small yet significant coin with unique minting traits. The next coin we'll explore today is the 1943 Monticello 5 cents Jefferson nickel, featuring a large date and a large P mint mark, notable for its rare rusty coloration and circulated condition. Right off the bat, it's important to understand the historical backdrop of this coin. The early 1940s were a tumultuous period globally due to World War II. This conflict heavily influenced the U.S. Mint's production choices for many coins, including the Jefferson nickel. In 1942, due to the demand for nickel metal in wartime production, the U.S. Mint switched to using an alloy of silver, copper, and manganese for nickels, which is why the 1943 Jefferson nickels are sometimes called war nickels. This change made these coins unique in composition and appearance, and the wartime issue nickels carry a significant place in numismatic history. The 1943 large date nickel is particularly sought after because of its rarity and distinct features. The large date variant means the numerals in the date are more pronounced and slightly bigger compared to other 1943 nickels. The large P mint mark, which denotes production at the Philadelphia Mint, is also relatively uncommon for nickels of this era, as the Philadelphia Mint traditionally did not use a mint mark on nickels until 1942. So, seeing a large P mark on this coin is a distinct feature that sets it apart from the standard 1943 issues. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin is its rusty color in circulated condition. Over time, the silver alloy used in wartime nickels can develop a range of surface colors due to oxidation and environmental exposure. This rusty patina isn't just a cosmetic feature. It tells a story of the coin's journey through decades and adds to its collector appeal. Collectors prize these war nickels not only for their silver content, but also for their historical significance and the unique surface characteristics that develop naturally over time. The mintage of the 1943 large date with large P mint mark is quite low, making it an extremely rare find. Official records indicate that the Philadelphia Mint struck a relatively small number of these nickels with the large P mint mark during that year, compared to the more common 1943 small date varieties without a mint mark or with different date sizes. Because of the low mintage and the wartime composition, few have survived in collectible condition, especially with the rare rusty coloration still visible. From a design perspective, the Monticello 5-cents Jefferson nickel is iconic. The obverse side features a left-facing profile portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. This design was created by the sculptor Felix Schlag, who won a competition to design the nickel in 1938. On the reverse, you'll find the image of Jefferson's famous Monticello estate in Virginia, a neoclassical mansion that Jefferson designed himself. This image on the coin connects the coin to Jefferson's legacy and is highly recognizable among collectors. Beyond the historical and design features, this coin's value in today's auction market is truly staggering. Due to its rarity, condition, and unique features, the 1943 large-date Monticello nickel with a large P mint mark in rusty circulated condition has recently been fetching prices well over $200,000 at major coin auctions. Collectors and investors alike see this coin as a prime example of a high-demand rarity that combines history, unique wartime metal composition, and scarcity. The coin's value is also boosted by its eye appeal. The rusty color is not just a flaw, but an attribute that many collectors find captivating because it emphasizes the coin's age and character. Collectors also pay special attention to errors and anomalies in coins, and this 1943 nickel is no exception. The combination of the large date and large P mint mark is itself a form of a minting anomaly, since most 1943 nickels from Philadelphia did not feature the mint mark prominently. Additionally, the rare rusty coloration is often associated with slight variations in the silver alloy composition, or how the coin reacted over time to environmental factors, which adds an extra layer of intrigue for numismatists. Many collectors prize such anomalies as they make the coin more unique and harder to replicate, contributing to its hefty auction value. What's more, the interest in this coin is amplified by the overall popularity of Jefferson nickels among collectors. The Jefferson Nickel series, which began in 1938, is one of the most collected and studied series in U.S. coinage. Its connection to an important historical figure and its changes in metal composition during wartime create numerous subcategories for collectors to focus on, from mint marks to date varieties and composition differences. The 1943 large date nickel with the large P mint mark sits at the pinnacle of this collecting spectrum. To sum up, the 1943 Monticello 5-cents Jefferson nickel with the large date and large P mint mark in rusty circulated condition is a rare wartime treasure. Its historical significance, unique design, low mintage, and extraordinary collector interest have driven its value to an astonishing $200,000 or more in today's auction market. If you're lucky enough to find one or add it to your collection, you're holding a piece of history that commands respect and incredible market attention. If you enjoyed this deep dive into these rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from valuable coins. Also, let me know in the comments if there's a rare coin you'd like me to explore next. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep collecting and appreciating the stories behind the coins.